Shootaround is off and running. We start with highlights from a wild Wednesday night in the Big East. The latest proof. That's why they play the games. We start in Omaha. Number 15 Creighton hosting Georgetown, and the Hoyas were red hot in Nebraska. Jamarco Pickett, stick it. Part of an 8 for 13 effort from beyond the arc in the first half. They've got size 2, Timothy Eagle Heve with the slam. Second half, 10 minutes to go, 3-point game. Chudier, stick with the play, Belay lays it in. Georgetown up by 5. Less than 5 minutes to go. The Bishop is in the house. Christian goes reverse, and it's down to a 6-point game. Then Javon, I'd like to make a deposit into the Blair Bank. It is open, and that's the dagger. The Georgetown Hoyas have beaten Providence and Creighton. Georgetown? The Hoyas, with back-to-back victories, they're on the radar. Let's go to Friartown. Seton Hall, Providence. It's a gotta-have-it game for both. In the first half, Bryson Goodine from deep. He would hit 2 straight threes. Providence would open up a 7-point lead. Seton Hall couldn't get much going offensively, so Ike Obiagu got him going defensively. And in the second half, the Pirates took off. Eat your kale, kids. Miles Kale with the lay-in in transition. And the Hall in control. And then need a dagger shot. Go to the guy from Georgia, Mamu. Seton Hall up 13. Mamu Kelashvili had 20. Miles Kale with 19. And Mamu Kelashvili puts the icing on the cake of Kevin Willard's 200th win as a Seton Hall head coach. Let's go to Queens. St. John's, Villanova, it's looking like ho-hum for Villanova. They are out to a 7-0 lead in this game. Red Storm came in winners of 4 straight. Villanova, winners of 9 straight. So a battle of 2 red-hot teams, and Posh Alexander got him going. Then Greg Williams says, "Good evening, I'm back, and my back is fine." Deeper in the first half, 1-point game. Caleb, the Book of Daniels, hits a 3 in Villanova. They were up, and then down 1. Final minute and change of the first half. All night long, Posh Alexander into the second half on the break. Alexander to Julian Champagny for the fast break bucket. Then Champagny, a penny for your thoughts and a penny for big-time shots. He'd hit the dagger here. St. John's, the Red Storm have won 5 in a row, and their biggest statement yet, they take down number 3 Villanova, their highest-rated win on campus since 1966. That year was Luke Carnesecca's first season as the head coach at St. John's. The Red Storm beating number 3 St. Joe's 55 years ago. Of course, they've had a lot of statement-making wins inside the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. But with all their home games on campus at Carnesecca this year, the Johnnies making a statement to all of college basketball in Queens on Wednesday night, handing Villanova its first conference loss. And with that, we say good morning. Welcome to Big East Shootaround. John Fanta here from the Hoboken at-home studios. And an ode to Boomer, Chris Berman, the best highlights reader there is. On this Super Bowl weekend, we hope you enjoy the big game between the Chiefs and the Buccaneers, and we had to work in some of Boomer's best phrases into that opening highlights package. Let's start with the headlines. Busy day in the Big East, and it starts at noon Eastern time on Fox. UConn is back in action in stores. They will welcome in Seton Hall. Huskies are 8-3 overall, 5-3 in the Big East. This team has a huge upcoming 5 games. Today, home to Seton Hall, then Wednesday at Providence, before going to Xavier next weekend. Then the Friars again before going to Villanova. James Bouknight should be coming back at some point in this stretch. For the Huskies, it's been defense, it's been rebounding. Can they find that score, whether it's Tyler Polley, Tyrese Martin, RJ Cole? They've got to find that today. Seton Hall coming off a 17-point win over the Friars. Number 2, Creighton. Can the Blue Jays bounce back today? 5 Eastern time, they're in action against Marquette. And for the Jays, their defensive efficiency rating, according to KenPom, was in the top 30, top 35 in the country earlier this season. They've dipped down to 59. They need to regain their defensive identity because Georgetown was able to get wherever it wanted to, shooting nearly 60% in the first half of their win in Omaha on Wednesday night. So for Creighton, they need to regain their defense. They gave up 89 points to Marquette in the first meeting, a Golden Eagles win in Nebraska. So an interesting rematch against the Marquette team that needs it just as much. Both these teams in a pivotal showdown in Milwaukee. Finally, St. John's is red hot and looks to stay that way. They're going for their 6th straight win this afternoon on FS1 when they take on Providence. And the key for the Red Storm, Posh Alexander. Over this 7-game stretch for the Johnnies, he's averaging over 14 points per game, nearly 5 assists per game, over 3 steals, over 3 rebounds. This kid is performing like the best freshman in the Big East, and he is a candidate for Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Let's talk about those red hot Johnnies and more with CBS Sports Insider John Rothstein. Let's tip off with St. John's. They beat Villanova on Wednesday night by 11, holding the Cats to 59 points. What did the Red Storm show you in this win?
They can make people really, really uncomfortable, John. That's the biggest thing. You know, Villanova is a team that really hasn't flinched, it felt like, in about 10 years. But Villanova was all out of sorts at Carnesecca Arena on Wednesday night, and that obviously has to go in the credit of St. John's. I mean, you know, Mike Anderson had a statement win. St. John's has put itself in position to be in position to make the NCAA tournament. To me, they're a year ahead of schedule considering where they were early in the season. I just can't believe that about 25, 26 days ago, Creighton put up 97 on St. John's without Marcus Zagorowski, and now St. John's at 12-7, in my opinion, controls its own destiny if it obviously hopes to get into the NCAA tournament.
The Johnnies allowing just 69 points per game over these last 5 wins. They'll look to make it 6 straight against the Providence Friars. Let's look around the Big East as well. Seton Hall, UConn, quite a Saturday showdown between Kevin Willard and Dan Hurley. What do you think about these two teams?
Seton Hall, I know that obviously is very, very close to your heart because it's your alma mater. Seton Hall has let some opportunities slip through its fingertips here. I mean, this isn't a significantly better team than its record indicates, and I firmly think that Seton Hall is the type of team, John, that could be in a 7-10 game in the NCAA tournament, obviously play a 50-50 game in that round of 64, and then find its way onto the second weekend because they're that good, they're that talented. You know as well as I do, there hasn't been great continuity at the point guard spot all season long. Shavar Reynolds has done a nice job in spurts. Bryce Aiken hasn't been completely healthy, but also Seton Hall has to get better at guarding the three-point line, and they're taking on a team in UConn right now that is a shell of itself. And I think when you looked at the rebuilding plan of Dan Hurley, the 3 players that were the epicenter of this recruiting plan for the Huskies were James Bouknight, Andre Jackson, and Akok Cook. Right now, all 3 are out of the lineup, and Dan Hurley has UConn in position still to get to the NCAA tournament. But make no mistake about it, without those 3 players, this is a bomb squad.
There's a big game, obviously, on Sunday. No, I'm not talking about the pigskin. I'm talking about a suddenly sizzling Georgetown team taking on Villanova in a standalone type game, 2:30 Eastern time on Fox. I know how much you like the game that stays in its own window, and the Hoyas are playing better. Villanova, they've proven to us they really don't lose back-to-back games at all. What do you make of a Super Bowl appetizer?
Well, you know, if it's a Super Bowl appetizer, you know me, I just hope I don't have a food coma by kickoff of the actual Super Bowl. But in all seriousness, you know, I think if we were having this conversation, you know, on Wednesday morning and we were looking ahead to Sunday, we would think, well, this is going to be a 20-point win for Villanova. Villanova's unflappable. Some have even called them a Fortune 500 company. But I think, you know, we saw a Villanova team get punched on Wednesday night and get bullied for the first time this season. I know they had lost to Virginia Tech at Mohegan Sun, but St. John's bullied Villanova and bullied the flagship program in this conference. And I don't care if there isn't obviously a full attendance at Creighton. For Georgetown to go to Omaha and control that game in the second half like it did, again, you have to tip your cap to Patrick Ewing. And I've been saying this, you know, for years. If Patrick Ewing could ever have roster continuity at Georgetown, I think you're looking at a program that would rise and be in the top tier of the Big East. You're obviously as big of a Big East guy as there is. We saw Wednesday night something we really haven't seen since realignment, and that is the brands at Georgetown and St. John's taking a place nationally. That is something that this rendition of the Big East has not had. And if that happened on a regular basis, the ceiling for the conference would go to a different level. What is going to be on your Super Bowl menu, though? That's what I'm curious.
I got a sausage dip, some garlic Parmesan wings, and we'll throw in some potato skins as well, John Rothstein. What's on yours?
We are going to obviously get some wings from Bar Coastal. There'll be some sweet potato fries, and my fiance is tremendous at her toasted ravioli appetizer. You dip it in some marinara sauce. It's to die for. I had about 70 of those on Christmas Eve.
Wow. Save those sweet potato fries, some leftovers for that Hulkamania lunchbox.
You don't miss much, John. It's tough to get anything by you.
You can find him on CBS Sports. He hosts Stuffed. He hosts College Hoops Today. He's at John Rothstein. He's the best Twitter follow in college basketball. John, thanks for taking the time on Shootaround.
We sleep in May.
Thanks again to John Rothstein for taking the time. Now let's turn to the number 3 team in the land. Villanova had started the season 11-1. And entering Wednesday night at Carnesecca Arena, the Cats looked flawless, winners of 9 in a row before their worst performance of the campaign to date in that 11-point defeat at St. John's. So the natural question is, how will Jay Wright's team respond following their first Big East loss? Well, they start and end with a player who's been a staple to this system over the last 4 years, Colin Gillespie, whose 3.4 assist-to-turnover ratio ranks in the top 15 nationally. Get this, 62 assists to 18 turnovers. What makes him tick? What did he learn from Jalen Brunson, who now is in the NBA? And what's his family like? I had a one-on-one with Gillespie earlier this week. You had a career-high 11 assists this past weekend at Seton Hall. Your head coach, Jay Wright, says that you're like an extension of him on the court. Just take us inside the mind of Colin Gillespie. What's the key to floor vision?
I try to be aggressive when I'm on the floor, and just kind of play off my jump shot, and I think that allows me to see everything. And we always talk about if you put your eyes on the rim, you can see the entire floor. So I just play off my jump shot, and if I don't catch the shoot, then I'm either trying to get in the lane, make plays for other guys, and find guys. So I think it all starts with me just catching a shoot, being aggressive, and I think that allows me to find other guys.
Talking with people around Villanova, they've brought up your freshman year. Your road roommate was Jalen Brunson, and you were on a national championship team as a freshman. What did you see in Brunson then as a freshman that you now try to do as a senior?
Yeah, his work ethic was crazy when he would go into practice, come out of practice, come back to the room, and then he would go back not even 30 minutes later to go get extra shots up. His attention to detail with every little thing that he does, the way that he eats, the way that he prepares before games. You saw those little things that he did, and you kind of just watched, and it took you by shock as a freshman, because as a freshman, you're kind of just used to high school basketball. You go in, you play, and then you leave. But there's a lot of preparation that goes into being a great player, being a great leader. And I think I saw that a lot with him. I saw that a lot with Phil the year after that. Those guys were great leaders on and off the floor. And I think I took a little bit from each person.
What's your why? Why do you love and play basketball?
That's a great question. I love the sport. I love the competition of it. Wow, I really never thought about that before. I've always grown up playing the game, but I think I would say the competition, just competing at a high level every day, working hard and seeing the constant improvement. from the start of my freshman year to the senior year, how much I can grow and get better and how much I can still grow and get better. I think that's the beauty in it, the process behind it. There's always more to learn. There's always room to grow. So I think that's what I really love about the game is that you can go in and you can compete. It doesn't matter, your skill level doesn't really matter. You could go in and compete and you could work hard and you'll give yourself a chance. And I think that's something that I pride myself on is just try to outwork everybody and play harder than everybody. And I think that's something that really draws me to the game. And then also the ability to just get better and keep learning and keep growing.
How much does that work ethic start with your family?
Yeah, that's where I learned it from. Honestly, that's my brother, my sister, my two older siblings, growing up playing sports, having to play up and play against them, losing a lot of games when I was younger in the yard or on a court. It's my dad and my mom, seeing how much they work, seeing how much they sacrifice for me to do this. It all starts with them, honestly. Just my parents kind of raising me to be a hard worker and teaching me how to lead by example and to work hard to get what I want and not just kind of expect anything or expect a handout. You got to work for everything that you want and everything that you get.
Is Villanova blue blood?
I mean, I don't think we get the same attention, but we're not really worried about that. We don't need the term blue blood to make us feel good or anything. We just go out there and we play hard for 40 minutes. We play Villanova basketball, and if we're doing that, then we're happy.
Colin Gillespie, thanks so much for the time, and good luck here the rest of the way.
Thanks for having me, John.
Some great perspective from Colin Gillespie, who is joined by his Villanova teammate Jeremiah Robinson-Earl and UConn's James Bouknight on the Wooden Award Top 20 finalist list, which was released earlier this week. That'll do it for us here on Big East Shootaround. And can you believe this, guys? 5 weeks from today would be Big East Tournament Championship Saturday. Here's to negative tests and more basketball on the way. And again, noon Eastern time on Fox, Seton Hall, UConn. Over on FS1, it's DePaul and Butler. At 2 o'clock, St. John's and Providence on FS1 before the day wraps. At 5, Creighton visiting Marquette over on Fox. I'm John Fanta. Enjoy the games, everybody.